There's nothing wrong with putting the highlights in that roam position as well. It all depends on how they want to play this out. And finally, rounding out this draft with the Nolan here for the side of EVOS. A lot of assassins, but not a lot of targets.
Killable and also very fast. So now, draft index here, Rashi.
Well, if you look at the draft index, lineup rating and counter index, both favor the side of EVOS. I feel like they do have the more well-rounded composition. They have an assassin, they can go for big team fights, or they can go for pickoffs as well. So that usually means that they can be a bit more confusing in the Land of Dawn, but we'll have to see for DEWA, man. There are ways that they can use this draft in creative ways as well.
Here we go, the gods seeking out to tame the white tigers. Will their fangs and their claws stay the same, as sharp as ever? Or will the gods still reign over them? It is the match number 2 of MPL ID Season 14, DEWA United against EVOS Glory.
A whole lot of green, by the way, for DEWA. Almost like they're sending a message. Go green, ladies and gentlemen. Go purify and revitalize, right? 2 purifies and 1 big revitalize for the horseman himself. And it'll be in the XP, by the way. As we see Panzer actually walk up very early on. It might be first blood. He's making a fall. Panzer flickers forward to give the final smack.
Well, that came out of nowhere. We weren't ready for that, but Hejume already taken out, already forced to use the Purify as well. What was that about, man? EVOS immediately bit down on that, and now Ray tries his best to try and get the steal. He does, actually.
Great combo together with the Terrify. Mueza still able to flicker backwards. Earth Shadow coming down. Hejume respawning and clapping back. Able to find a trade, and that has to be worth it. Now immobilized into the enhanced psych. Ray equalizes the kills on the board. We are back to 2-2.
EVOS forces the issue, and this time around, it becomes an issue for themselves. They were overextending their stay, but as we take a look at the emblems here, Arashi, what is something that you can pick up with the emblems they pick?
Well, this is a Kufra with a Quantum Charge on Panzer, so he wants a bit more of the sustain of the movement speed, more utility-based, so he won't be too concerned with the clearing, with the concussive blast. Well, as for Mueza, being the main frontline here, aside from Shorizu, of course, he just goes in for the permanent tenacity combo. All he wants to do is survive long enough to get 1 extra Earth Shatter off, like we saw in the previous engagement. And that could be all that the team needs to try and find a winning play. But look at this.
But onward into the Earth Shatter. Panzer can't be moving right now. Got bouncing ball to try to escape. The enhanced chain will knock him up, but it's not going to be enough damage to take him down. Setup definitely favorable for DEWA United right now. Fluffy not even level 4 just yet.
Panzer needs to sprint back because this turtle now on the hands of DEWA United. They hug it close, they hold it tight. The free turtle now for DEWA United. So of course, all things considered, the fact that Hejume had to die early and then there was another kill as well towards Mueza, this is a good equalizer coming in from DEWA United. They're able to tone on the pressure, neutralize all of EVOS' early lead, and Annabelle not yet able to kind of like show his fangs that much. As we take a look at the talent prediction by the new application GoPay, a few DEWAs this time around, much more kind of like favoring DEWA United.
More DEWAs on the Indonesian side for sure, but Mirko here, again, it's so early in the season, we have to wait and see, right? Yep. Is it going to be a curse or is it going to be a bless? You never really know when Mirko is involved.
It has been blesses so far this year.
Well, that doesn't, you never know. But looking at the situation right here, the fact that Ray on the Julian is able to out-farm the Nolan, part of the why the Nolan is just so oppressive and so difficult to deal with is that clear speed as well. And yet, he's still matching up and even able to pick up a kill right here, even though Annabelle was able to do the same at the cost of his own life. So they're keeping up, they're making sure that they do have the gold advantage. From here though, this is where it gets sketchy, right? This is where a team with more experience can kind of get the better of DEWA United. They have to make sure that they set up all of their plays and plan up ahead. It's 30 minutes right now, but they have to plan for minute 4 already to try and figure out how they want to push and how they want to rotate around the map. And more importantly, who do they want to get ahead, right? To carry them in the mid to late game.
DEWA has been investing a lot of these members to just drag out the resources and maybe look for a collapse towards EVOS Glory. Doma already has his corrosive Skype, able to just survive the lane and maybe, just maybe, join in the team fight a little bit more early because that item kind of supplements that approach. So, opting for the Revitalize compared to the Vengeance, what raises that choice over there, Rashi?
just wants to get a bit more healing, and usually we've seen this. Usually use the Hylos with a revitalized combo with a healing hero, and it's an obscene amount of healing, man. But even solo with the glorious pathway, you still get an extra bit of value from your ultimate, and it's on a relatively short-ish cooldown. So for Sorizo here, he can just be the oppressive frontline and let Mueza be the creative one to just hide in the sides, look for these weird flanks just like this to investigate and maybe find something.
Charges up, Tower's bench, now into the rage as well. Gonna be able to lock them down. Eternal Guard with the glorious pathway, but Panzer is gonna be caught in the glorious pathway. They've got all the movement speed he needs to run him down with a blazing duet, and it's a win for DEWA.
Panzer again having to bite the bullet. This time around, DEWA. It's so insane how they're able to stitch up and bandage all the injuries that they were able to receive in the first minutes of the game. Hajime back in line as well. With that turtle take, they're even inching further as Annabelle and Ray just playing a game of cat and mouse down bottom.
Ray is still getting the better of him though. They were able to get the red tree steal there onto the objective, and they're still able to win it out. It's a difference in burst damage, even though in theory, for EVOS, they have all the AoE, all the burst damage available from that Vexana. If they landed a big engage with I'm Offended into a Tyrant's Rage, Tyrant's Revenge, into Eternal Guard, that could be disaster for DEWA, but they're able to really find and pick and choose the right moment to really go aggressive here.
Now Fluffy, even everybody's really struggling in their own lanes. So for me, DEWA, it really felt like in the draft they just had EVO's Glory's number. Even a Nolan pick, it definitely felt like it was a very forced pick to go for, right? There's no targets here. And Nolan, his strong point, like suit, is his mobility on top of the crazy clear. So the fact that DEWA can actually match that and chase him down with the glorious pathway, with all the lockdown here, it's going to be definitely very tough. What? Able to space out. Panzer not able to find the blazing duet now, but now gets caught in the fracture. Still Mueza popping the Earth Shadow Ray, Golden A hash chain. Eternal Guard to disengage, and it seems for EVOS they'll be able to walk away from this one as Hijime just tries to push them back even further.
A trade of resources. EVOS Glory were the ones pulling the trigger, and they were the ones who had to back off because DEWA United have so much, damage this early stage of the game, especially with the blazing duet, and then you have Chorizo just coming in with Glorious Pathway, so it's going to be very, very annoying for EVOS to deal with as it comes to like the 6th minute and even the 7th minute later on.
It's a great move for EVOS there. They know that right now Chorizo is just way too tanky to be taken out in the lane. They send him to just cut the wave and get the prio to really go for that neutral objective. So they get the turtle, but they also get the turret on the bottom side. That's where Annabelle is trying to equalize, but look at the play already for the side of DEWA. Immediately going into the jungle, trying to find a bit more. I think they're really planning on letting go of this bottom turret, which is acceptable because they're going to trade on top side too. They're zoning EVOS from even getting to their structures.
Yeah, Annabelle looking for a cross-map play, but what matches it as well. So all in all, it's such a profitable margin for DEWA United to pull up against. Meanwhile, for EVOS Glory, they're still yet caged in their own jungle, in their own areas. Not able to maximize the use of this Kufra with the Tyrant's Rage. Again, you need someone who can really set up the Kufra to get the stuns. Exactly. And you can't really bank up with the Eternal Guard. You can't really, hope Clockun will be the main initiator again. So for Kufra, it'll kind of get harder as the game progresses.
That's the problem of first picking the Kufra and then not picking a secondary or the real initiator, because the Kufra is a secondary initiator. You can't be the one engaging on the Kufra. You need someone to engage, and then in the midst of a fight, you find a capitalization. At least that's the optimal route for a Kufra to make plays. And here, Panzer is forced to make initiations all the time.
Yeah, and he will just throw away most of the time. Hey. Ultimate coming from Chorizo.
Walking him down right now. Spirit Destruction thrown away. What?
Wait.
Finds a kill, and Ash Chain as well. Doma's going to be taken down too. Both the carries, the backliners, have been found in the front lines of battle.
Doma taken out and down. The Moscow you would expect to be so mobile. This time around, Ray smells blood and just cuts down the carries of EVOS Glory.
It's a crazy bait and switch right there. They saw the glorious pathway and they're like, wow, the advance is coming. But before they know it, it's a bait, right? The danger comes from the side lanes. And this is what's so difficult right here for EVOS. Usually, like you said, you want your roamer to have the freedom to just hide around and go for the big pickoffs, the big engages on the right members. But the fact that they have Fluffy on a Ruby that's, sustainable, but not exactly tanky for the burst damage coming in from the side of DEWA, Now they're just forced to kind of use Panzer to be that main front line because they can't lose Fluffy and have him fall behind. So for now, Panzer's going to take the brunt of the aggression, and Fluffy immediately goes for the Radiant Armor because he knows that that Julian damage, that the Edith damage, and the Valentina damage as well, all are the exact factor that's allowing DEWA to be a lot more fearsome when it comes to the pick-off game.
Yeah, and Fluffy hasn't even been existent in most of the skirmishes and the collapses coming in from EVOS Glory. He could be the kind of like the main engager, the main initiator, but then again, Fluffy has to really deal with the damage coming in from Ray, from Hijume again, like how Arashi mentioned. So for EVOS Glory, it's going from bad to worse. DEWA is able to rack up a 5k gold lead as the Lord marches up top. EVOS, they're playing a defensive game this time around.
Again, that I'm offended, trying to go for the catch, but Panzer wasn't ready to really go for it. Annabelle walks up the fracture, Hijume takes it up, doesn't care about that damage, and they take a tier 2. As EVOS, it's really getting frustrating, definitely for them. They can't really look for anything around the map, and Doma at this point, he's just going to try to clear out the waves, but even then, what? Can still siege the tier 2 down. That's a 6,000 gold lead. All of the tier 2s.
Yeah, we talked about game plans as well, pre-game. But this time around, EVOS looks like they're kind of lost in their own draft. So how do they kind of claw back against DEWA United?
They have to make for a big engage. Not on Mueza though, but they go for it. 2 ultimate use already.
But I'm offended now. Panzer's all alone. Mueza with the Primal Wrath. There's some damage back. Panzer able to escape still. And for DEWA, I like that decision. Shows you that they're actually just really, really disciplined too, despite, obviously having those issues in the past. They have a 6,000 gold lead. They could have definitely forced the fight, but they said, nah, why? We have a 6,000 gold lead. We have a Lord spawning in 60.
Just wait for the next objective, the next fight to be that's just that much more decisive. And look at the itemization though. Immediately a blade armor built up by Sorizo, who knows that being a Hylas, for the most part, the only really way you can deal with him, being a horse, being a big horse, the only way you can deal with him is to melt him down with basic attacks, with a marksman. But building that blade armor means that Doma, of course, can still do it. It's just going to take a lot more time, and it's going to force Doma to take a lot more damage, and that means that there's a chance for Ray or Hijume to just go forward and secure the kill onto Doma. Because it's not card control that Sorizo is inflicting onto him, it's damage.
Yeah, but all things considered, the fact that EVOS are down in the dumps now, at least for Doma, I think he has the time to kind of like farm up his items and be the main damage dealer. When you have Clockton, basically a Lord that spawns in front of you, and then you have Luffy, the main initiator, and then Panzer, the counter engager. Basically, Doma is all protected, but the problem is that you have Hijume that could just come up into your own face, and Ray as well. You saw how he was able to kill and take down Doma this time around. Lord was taking Fluffy though.
I'm offended, but then returned back by Hijume as I'm offended. Hijume showing the emote as well of his ex-team. This has got to be personal. It's a spear of destruction from Doma to try to steal it away. But man, DEWA United are just looking clean.
Hijume is on a mission to make a statement that exiling him from the White Tigers pack has been a bad decision, but this time around, game's not done yet. EVOS Glory, I don't know, they're just trying to clear up the waves. At least the good point, or positive point that you can pick up is that the waves are pushing towards EVOS. They can farm these waves, but the pressure coming from DEWA United is just way too huge for them to deal with.
They do have high ground technically, and there's no ways for them to really engage in a big fight. So I think DEWA needs to be a bit more careful though.
Great turtle caught into the Earth Shatter, and now Ray just takes him out. Now the waves into it with the Glorious Pathway gives them so much maneuverability. Panzer forced back, enhanced chain. Sucker clock cut up, Mueza with a flicker forward. Annabelle goes in with a fracture, but Mueza will be taken down. Annabelle finding the kill. Watt now still there with the Wind of Nature. There's no minions there, and Doma's still gonna be hitting down. It doesn't even matter. DEWA brute forces their way to a game 1 victory.